Good morning, Brigette Patton here with Selfsabotage, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about emotions. You guys know this is one of my favorite topics. And sort of what I'm noticing and hearing from my guides lately about how we can sometimes use our spiritual connection and our awareness to bypass our reality. And while spirituality is a really powerful way to level up and to get connected to our guides and get guidance, there's a time where discernment is really valuable and important. And that discernment allows us to be able to get to the root of our behavior and our patterns and our actions. And one of the ways that spirit, our guides, will do this is by, creating contrast in our reality. And so our emotions, energy and motion, are what allow us to navigate in our reality. It allows us to see, okay, am I feeling pressure? Do I need to move in this direction? Am I feeling a pull? Do I need to go in this direction? And when we hide behind our spirituality and we say, oh, I'm just gonna go do yoga. I'm just gonna meditate. I'm gonna go do XYZ, whatever your spiritual practice is, without getting to the root of acknowledgement with that emotion that you're feeling, that is a really, I don't really like using this word, but it's a disastrous way to go through your reality. And the reason why is because what'll start happening is your mind will begin to self-sabotage. Your mind will start sort of playing tricks on you. And the reason why is because we're meant to be connected to this world. We're meant to be in this third dimensional world. And when we're not acknowledging that we have emotions and that we're moving these emotions in and out of our body, then our mind starts to kind of attack itself. And we end up manifesting things and seeing things that really aren't true. We're seeing it through a veil of illusion, and you can feel the truth of it because you can feel inside of your body and you can use your discernment with that. This is something that I help people hone in on. It's one of the techniques that we use as we're going through the course, the mentorship program that I have. But for today, if you guys can start being realistic with yourselves and acknowledge if those emotions are coming up, are you being real with yourself and being authentic with yourself that, number one, you're having an emotion. We're human beings, so we're always going to have emotions. It doesn't matter how ascended you are, those emotions guide you. They are what help us navigate here and be connected. I mean, what point would it be to be on Earth if we weren't allowing ourselves to feel the ebb and flow of energy through our bodies? So where we get hung up is in our mind. This is where everything gets manifested, and this is the medium that allows us to hear from source and also to manifest our desires. And so if we don't have this thing up here clear so that we can understand our emotions and we can connect with them and be able to transmute them. So like if it's a heavier energy and you don't understand what it means, so you stuff it down, or this is where the part comes in where you hide behind your spirituality. I'm just going to pray. I'm just going to yoga. I'm just going to XYZ. Well, then that's just going to keep coming up in your reality in the future. You're always going to have to master that emotion from one perspective or another, or it's going to keep happening to you and it's going to control you. Instead of being in control of the mastery of your emotions are going to be pulling you all over the place from one thing to the other, from one experience to another, where you're going to feel like you're secluded, where you're going to feel like people are against you, where you're going to feel like things aren't lining up. Or you may not realize that you're stuffing these emotions down and hiding from them. And then what happens is you're only experiencing a fraction of what source is, guiding you towards. And no matter what vantage point you're at, there's always going to be another level. There's always going to be something bigger and more amazing that Spirit has in store for you. But until you clear this up here and you move things out of the way so that channel that all the messages are going in and out of, if that channel isn't clear and it isn't in a high vibration, everything is going to be an illusion. You're going to be seeing things through a distorted stained glass window. You can only see a little bit of it. You can't see all of the pieces coming together. And my desire for all of you guys is to be able to hold space and acknowledge the very real emotions. Sometimes it feels like shadow work. Sometimes it feels like something heavy inside of your body. But without that pressure, we aren't able to transform and move through that next layer. It's just like a seed in the dirt. It has to crack open and move through the layers of earth in order to blossom and bloom and bear fruit. We're no different. We are connected to nature and Mother Earth. We also have to go through layers of cracking open and being able to evolve into that next level of amazingness so that we can bear fruit from that next level. But what happens is we get stagnant and we get content in our spiritual practice, and we use our emotions as an excuse to leave our bodies, and we will say things like, oh, well, I'll connect to my guides, or I'll feel into it. But then we don't actually acknowledge in our minds what it is that we need to shift or we need to change within ourselves. And this is a little secret that you guys probably already know, but we're always changing. There's always going to be another amazing part of us that we're uncovering, but we have to believe that that's the truth of it, that we are here to uncover what is perfect inside of us. Not our flaws, not our imperfections. We're really good at focusing on those, and that's what sometimes gets us hung up, where we don't want to look at ourselves because all we see is all the projections of everyone else. And then sometimes we end up projecting that under other people when they're trying to love us. So this is the last thing that I wanted to say about spirituality and all of that. One other thing that I'm noticing is when I'm trying to give feedback energetically, and Spirit's bringing people into my life right now that, you know, sometimes they were people that I had a really deep, intimate connection with, and sometimes they're people that were here for a season. And when I've tried to share that love and light with people, sometimes when they're not ready to see how amazing they are, they may say that they believe that they are, and they might have a concept of it, but if they haven't allowed themselves to feel it into their bodies and receive that love from the physical world, then what happens is self-sabotage. Self-sabotage starts going on because there is a belief system where they don't believe they deserve love, or they don't believe that they are worthy. Even though they're saying the words, if it's not moving through the body, that's what moves everything out, those lower dimensional energies, the judgment and expectations that we have on ourselves. So what starts happening is it starts getting projected. And that's where being a spiritual leader in your own life is so important, because then you can clearly see and feel when someone's projecting something onto you when you're trying to give love. And I see this a lot in the narcissist empath relationships, and that's very common in this time period right now. It's just the contrast that our earth needs to experience to wake up. And so when we're trying to share our love as an empath, we are likewise preventing these other people from expanding and growing, because we're taking up so much of their space with that love, and we're not, allowing the love to move through us and just be mirrored back to them. And it's exhausting and it's draining, especially when somebody else is not ready to receive that love at that level. And so my suggestion to you guys is to really just start being aware of yourself. Are you hiding from those emotions? Are you using your spiritual awareness and your ability to navigate in the universe to sabotage yourself from growing and expanding and seeing how great you are? What are you doing in your everyday life that is changing you today for tomorrow? How are you acknowledging and being real with yourself today so that tomorrow you can be a bigger light in this world? Not just for other people, but for yourself especially. We have to show up for ourselves if we want to attract those other relationships and those other connections here in this world. And you all know that we're hardwired to be in a community atmosphere, in a community setting. I did another video about being a people person. If you guys want that, I can pop that in here if anybody's interested in seeing that. But just remember that we're meant to be in a community setting. We're here to birth in the new earth reality. And birthing in earth means being connected to your emotions. It means living in this reality, in this world. If we want to see a change in the world, we have to be it. We have to live it. We have to allow for spirit to guide us in that way so that we can have that physical energy and that power inside of us from source that really illuminates the path. And sometimes the path looks scary, even if it's something that's better than what somebody already has, because it's different. It's different. It's a change. Not everybody handles change very well. Sometimes it really stresses people out. And if they don't have the tools to navigate through it, they're going to project on you. They're going to, and you yourself, you will also be projecting onto other people. So I hope this message really helps you guys kind of acknowledge the power of your emotions and the necessity of your emotions, and really just start to set yourself free, because acknowledging them is so important. Like, that is how we stay in this physical reality and we don't start having the mind sabotage us and start breaking things down and turn in on itself. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. I love you all very much, and I will see you in the next video.